so thrilled that you're all here. And what we're going to do is Jag and Wilson from the primary school are going to acknowledge country because we stand on the land of the Gunai people. And then we're going to ask Sharon Lawrence, the project coordinator, to cut the ribbon. And then we're going to go back to the Lions Park and we're going to do it properly there where we'll listen to the Honourable Peter Ryan, our Deputy Premier, and members of Gippsland South, and Bob Wegler, our Wellington Shire Council, and Helen Dixon from Parks Victoria. We'll all have something to say, and we'll sort of do the official bits back there, and then the barbecue is on for everyone. Okay? So, Jag and Wilson, would you like to acknowledge country for us?
Before we begin I'd like to acknowledge the AFA.
Looking at the camera.
Most of you will probably know where the Lions Park is, but if you don't, if you get back onto the main road, let's go in Concord. It's on the lake anyway. Head to the lake.
We'll do what we all do, Sharon. What do we do?
This is our official opening of the Lock Store 90 Mile Beach access, and I particularly want to welcome our special guests, the Honourable Peter Ryan, the Deputy Premier and the member for Gippsland South, Wellington Shire Councillor Bob Wegler, Helen Dixon, the District Manager for Parks Victoria coming from Sale, and Errol Parmigiani and Lou Capitani from Fisheries. Welcome to you particularly, and of course, welcome to our wonderful rock sport community and all the people that have pulled themselves out on this terrible day to come and join us. Okay, so on behalf of Rock Sport Community House, I welcome you all, and I'll call on Councillor Bob Wenger to come and say a few words for us. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you all, and welcome. Country's already been done, and that was wonderful. I'd like to all thank you for inviting me to speak here at today's opening, and what a fantastic occasion this is. All made possible through the strong collaboration of our communities, residents and council. And we've got our member from South Gippsland, Deputy Premier Mr Ryan here as well too, to help us celebrate this occasion. I do appreciate the fact that he takes the time out to come out here today to be with us. The Lock Sport Community House Incorporated have done a wonderful job managing the project in partnership with Parks Victoria, Department of Environment and Primary Industries, Victorian Fisheries, Wellington Shire Council, the Bank of Melbourne, and local fox sport organisations. All up, Council has contributed some $17,000 towards the 90-mile safe beach access, which I was looking at today. Look, absolutely wonderful down there. That provides a pathway starting at the car park, running right through the dunes to the 90-mile beach. As originally identified as a priority, the Locksport Community Plan, there are many benefits, one of which is a safe, easier and more accessible entry to the beach for residents and emergency service vehicles when required. With summer just around the corner, the pathway will also become quite popular with tourists visiting the area for fishing, camping and other leisure activities over the holiday period. There's one person I know I forget to mention. A big thank you to Sharon for your hard work as the main driver of the project. Your efforts as well surely paid off and you just feel a real sense of accomplishment today. And thank you all to all the local organisations and stakeholders involved. Every group within Locksport has put such a commendable effort raising awareness and funds. Council fully supports projects such as this, enhancing the livability of the Shire and working together in partnership with the community, with our community members. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Bob. Thanks for taking the time to come. And again, Peter Ryan, we're very pleased to see you in your capacity as Deputy Premier and particularly as our member for Gippsland South, and we'd like to ask you to say a few words too.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am reminded of John Anderson's great story of years ago, addressing a crowd in a shearing shed in the middle of New South Wales when it started to hammer rain. And he said, "Can everybody hear me?" And a bloke down the back said, "Yes, I can, but can I swap with someone who can't?" My wife Trish and I, we're delighted to be here today with you to celebrate this wonderful occasion. We never start a speech with an apology, but we do apologise for being a little late. We just got caught at the other end. Our good friends in the media want to have a chat at the most inconvenient time sometimes, but be that as it may, it is a pleasure to be here with you. And we came because these community events are so important in the life of the respective communities where they exist. And that's what's principally been the driver of this. It's the fact that the community really decided years ago, and it is literally years ago, that there needed to be a beach access for those for whom all abilities, if you like, are not necessarily as strong as they might be for many others within community. And so the capacity for people who wanted to go to the beach but had trouble being able to get there and get back, and the opportunity was therefore not available to them, something needed to be done to address this. And that's where the strong driver came out of this. The community house, the angling club, probably together with raffle tickets being sold down at the pub and a variety of other sources of funding being raised. All of those things were the impetus which gave rise to this project. And then others were able to lend their able assistance. We have representation here today from Helen and Parks Victoria, the wonderful work that they do in looking after this magnificence which surrounds us. The Bendigo Bank represented here today. The council, which has been...
Thank you, Melbourne.
The Bank of Melbourne, which is represented here today. And if they knew about this, the Bendigo Bank would probably the council and Bob's presence also acknowledged the cause. And through fisheries, $50,000 over the week contributed through fisheries. But the real key to this, apart from Bank of Melbourne and others, is this pivotal point, and that is community. Community thought of this idea, drove this idea, made this idea happen, and that I think is what makes it singularly important for the people of Locksport. So congratulations to everybody concerned, particularly to the Bank of Melbourne and those many other organisations who have participated in this, but the real story does lie in the community drive for this and the amount of money which was raised out of the community. It's just been a wonderful, wonderful outcome. So congratulations to all.
Thank you very much indeed. And now I'd like to call on Helen Dixon from Parks Victoria to say a few words, and I'm sure she'll remember the bank of Melbourne. A great ad for them.
I did.
Thank you all so much for the opportunity to say a few words here today. I'd like to acknowledge the government and our people that have resorted in this morning. We have a fantastic joint management arrangement with the government and our people. And I'd like to acknowledge the Deputy Premier and Minister Southeast and Mr. Penryan, Councillor Bob Winder. I'd like to acknowledge Fisheries Victoria in Luke Capitani and Wilfred Tripod, long-term colleague. And I'd also like to acknowledge Shannon Rice, the project officer, who we've had the pleasure of working with, the Locksport Community House and the Locksport and Waterfront Club. I've been the new district manager for the area now for just on 18 months, and I first heard about the project about 12 months ago, and I thought, wow, that's absolutely fantastic. Parks Victoria has a program to increase accessibility into parks, and this just fitted in great with what we were trying to do. And when we talk about a partnership, I'm not really sure it was such a partnership. When I actually found out about the project, I didn't realise how far down the track you were. It was an incredible vision. You already received the fantastic grant and the work that the community had done. And we were kind of at the tail end of it, and I thought, this community group's awesome. Look what they're actually doing. So we were pretty quick to jump on board and help in any way that we could, and I've certainly really appreciated working with you. It's been fantastic, and I'd love to see that continue in future capacity. But I'd also like to acknowledge Fisheries Victoria. $50,000 is a lot of money, and just the work that they've done. But I won't talk too much about that. Obviously, Bank of Melbourne. And also, when I looked through and also Warranty Shy, the $15,000 that I know was contributed there. And when you add all that up, it's probably worth about $70,000 or $80,000 worth, but need a little bit more to get to where they had to go. And I'm sure the hardest work came in just finding the rest of the money. So you put 80% of your effort into the 20% of the project. But the raffle tickets, all that sort of stuff, it was just such a great success story, and I really congratulate you on doing that. I really hope that there's been lots of learning out of this project, and I would love to see the opportunity for the Locksport community to help other smaller communities along the coast, Golden Beach, those sorts of areas. I think that what you've done is incredible. And just to say thank you so much, it's been a real pleasure working with you.
Thanks very much, Helen. And a special welcome to Errol Parmigiani and Rapapati from Fisheries, because Fisheries, of course, has been a major contributor. Duncan Hill, Duncan Hill from Queenscliff was a major support in all this. But I'd like to call on Errol to say a few words on behalf of Fisheries, and we want to acknowledge all the contributions you've made to this project.
Thanks everyone. Great to see a great turnout from all local people. Just a bit of background. This part of the funding from Fisheries comes from the Recreational Fishing Grants program. That's pretty much money that comes from recreational angling, and then it's distributed out into various community projects, fishing access, stocking, etc. So it's great to have this sort of project which provides access to a whole range of people that have difficulty getting to beaches and stuff like that. So Fisheries is very keen to be involved in this sort of project. And money only goes so far. I think pretty much what's been alluded to in the talk so far is that it's people who drive the process and communities who get stuck in behind things to actually get things done. So Fisheries is very happy to be in a position to be able to support something like this, but it's the community drivers that actually get things done. So congratulations to the people who have been involved. I think it'll be a fantastic thing for the area. It's a pretty popular area from a recreational point of view. It comes under our umbrella. We cover this part of the world from a patrol point of view. Duncan Hill does extend his apologies. He was going to be here today, so we've come in instead to give a bit of a rundown. So all I can say is that it's a great project to get up and running locally, and if there are other community projects in this vein, we're quite happy to try and support that sort of thing when we can. So congratulations to all concerned, and enjoy it. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Cheryl. And now it's my turn, because as you realise, there's been, from all the speakers, have acknowledged that there's been a lot of people who put a lot of effort and a lot of, well, what would we say, sweat and tears into this project, and they deserve to be acknowledged too. And I'm going to leave, well, you'll see the order I've done it in, and there'll be someone who'll be right till the very last, because that person's been our driving force behind all of this. So I'd like to express our thanks particularly to the Bank of Melbourne. You're at the top about it, Mike. It's been an honour. If you don't know, the Locksport community got behind a Facebook voting project, I guess you could call it, and put in so many votes that we eventually got the local project environment award from the Bank of Melbourne, and that took a lot of effort to get people to get their friends and their relations and anybody they knew to get onto Facebook for Bank of Melbourne and support the project. So that was, even though in a sense it was just clicking a few buttons, it took a lot of work to get people to do that, and we thank the Bank of Melbourne for making those awards available for their opportunity. So of course the community needs to be thanked, and again, speakers have already alluded to this, that it's without the community nothing really would happen, and we need everybody on board, and that's just about what we got. So the community, sorry, I must go back one thing. I've just realised that I missed a very important person, and I don't know if this person's here, but Julie Matalina.
Oh, that's me.
Hello. As part of the Bank of Melbourne, sorry, I'll just offer a chocolate cake. Oh, my sister works there. Julie, we particularly wanted to thank you, because you have been an amazing support through that project, and we really wanted to acknowledge you personally.
Thank you. It brings tears to my eyes, honestly.
So our local community groups, we received money from the Lions, the CFA, substantial contributions, the Anglican Club, the Bowls Club, the Senior Citizens, and the Community House all contributed. We received support from so many people. We had generous donors, Joan Gleed, who's a legend in Locksport, manned the raffle table week after week. Jill and Alan Hall from our local pub, they've assisted. Justin Myers, Eddie Hannemer, Rob McNabb, John Banks, all contributed. They're people who have an association with Locksport, long-standing, and we really want to acknowledge their contribution as well. Eleanor Thomas for her support right throughout this project. Commercial Motor Vehicle Foundation, another organisation who got a bit of an association with Locksport and who've used that and supported us all the way through, and we really want to acknowledge that those contributions from all of you people. So, mentioning you in thanks only takes a second or two, but the gratitude from the community is going to be there for a long, long time. Every time somebody walks down that path and says, wow, this is great, then that gratitude goes out to all of you people who've helped. So even though the thanks are brief, the benefits that you've accrued for our community are fantastic. And also, of course, we can't go without thanking our state government departments, our fisheries, our parks, And special mention for the amazing help coming from Helen and from Duncan, who've really done everything they could to support us. And you know, we know government departments and bureaucracies are difficult to manoeuvre through, but both Helen and Duncan have just done a fabulous job in helping us through all those, the maze of interactions and so on. And of course the Gurnai elders, it's our land, their land, sorry, that we stood on this morning, and they've been cooperative right throughout this project and supported us all the way through. So we certainly want to acknowledge those. I'm still not going to say thank you to the most important person yet in this project, because I want to tell you a couple of stories. Yesterday I met someone who said to me, explained that her heart condition had worsened, and you know, things were pretty grim. And she said, but have you been on the walk down to the beach? It's brilliant. I've walked there several times. Now, she's someone who puffs and can hardly get her breath, and yet she's been down and seen the ocean. I've had comments from people with walking sticks and walkers that I've finally been down that path. I heard a story recently of a lady who was pushed down there in a wheelchair, and when she got down towards the bottom, she burst into tears, and the person who was with her said, you know, what's the matter? Are you all right? Are you all right? And she said, it's joy. I have seen the ocean for the first time in years. So already, in the few weeks that the path has been there, people have just enjoyed it so much and got so much of it, out of it. They've seen the wind and the waves and moods of the ocean. They've experienced that sense of timelessness that you get when you stand there and see those waves rolling in from all over the world. They've experienced their worries slipping away. They've experienced that feeling of being at one with nature. And people who've never been able to do that, perhaps maybe for years, maybe for their whole life, have been able to access that beach. And of course that will continue and the word will spread, and we know that there'll be people who get so much joy and pleasure. And of course those fishing enthusiasts who have all their gear no longer will have to slip and slide down the gravel path, but could walk easily down there as well. So it means a great deal to everybody, and it's already showing such huge benefits and such joy. And so the final thank you. The final thank you goes to Sharon Lawrence, of course. Best to last. I think I'm not going to go on too long because I know that you all know how much work Sharon's put in. Every person that has had contact over the speech project has had contact with Sharon. Sharon's been the driver, she's been the organiser, she's been the nagger, she's been the one who's cheered when things have come in. Guess what? We've got that money in. Guess what? You know, and it's been a roller coaster, I guess, hasn't it, Sharon? But we wanted you to know how much all that work is appreciated. We want you to know how much joy you've already given to so many people, and how much joy you're going to continue to give every time someone with a walking stick or a walking frame or a wheelchair or a heavy load of fishing gear goes down that path. So we can only say thank you. I wish we could do more, but we want to say thank you. We want you to know that you're appreciated, and we want you to enjoy that walk down that path as many times as you can make it. So thank you, Sharon. All that talking, it's time to eat. So hopefully, how the sausage is going over there, folks? They're great, they smell good, so line up for your bread and your sauce. And you've got to have at least two each. Could all the people who made a speech come out front? We need a photo for our local newsletter. Yes. So,
Make sure we get the Bank of Melbourne.